Hey, welcome everyone to TVOSJ, the voice of San Joaquin, right here off the Miracle Mile in Stockton, California. It is now time with Divine Numerology with Darius Oliver. And here he comes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show today, Divine Numerology. We're going to be talking about the number of the day, and we're going to be talking about its implications, as well as post, pre, and retrograde of Mercury that is taking place. We're in retrograde season. It's about to officially start, and we're going to go into that as well. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. We got some really good stuff for you. And as far as the number of the day today's the 25th. And so with the 25th energy, we have the warrior energy from the number 25. So 25 naturally is a warrior number. It's a number of valor, of consistently pushing forward to, despite whatever comes up your way or whatever happens. And so for those of you that resonate or were wondering how this energy matches for you, just pay attention. This is how you can tune into it, by looking at whatever situation or circumstance that you're experiencing right now and looking at how it could potentially set you back. If you're experiencing any setbacks today, then this is a day to take stock of your weaknesses. Take stock of your weaknesses so you can become aware of them, so that you know how to prepare in advance. By taking stock of the weaknesses, you identify your patterns, and then pay attention to what triggers your patterns, what gets you in those situations, so that you can be proactive when the next time that it appears, and that it won't catch you off guard. That's the thing with weaknesses when you're not looking at how to turn them into strengths, is that they can catch you off guard if you allow them to, if you don't take a look at how they show up in your life. And today, since it's the number 25, 2 plus 5, we got the 2, which is related to relationships, but also 2 is the part of you that no one sees. 1 is the outer part. 2 is inner, the shadow side. So this is that, looking at that aspect of yourself with relationships, but it's also 5, which is changes in the inner self. And then 2 and 5 add to create 7, which is introspection and analysis. So this is a lot about taking, deep analysis into those aspects of you. 7 is that part of us that will test us at times. It'll test us to keep us on our toes, but to keep us progressing at the same time as well. And that's what's really important for today, so that you take stock, so we can take stock in this, in how these are affecting us in certain ways. When looking at your day, when looking at the day, if you happen to be born on the 7th, 16th, or the 25th, today might be an energy. Today may be something that feels a little bit more comfortable or more suited, because 7 is that particular number. 7 isn't the best number when it comes to business or money wise, because it's primarily a spiritual number. A number that, like we mentioned earlier, really prides itself on introspection and moving forward. 25 in numerology and in the tarot, it corresponds to the Knight of Wands. It corresponds to the Knight of Wands, which is relating to a person that's very ambitious and wanting to make progress in a very rapid way. This is someone that with this Knight of Wands energy for the 25th, it's really emphasizing the importance of diligence, because as we mentioned, with this being that energy of taking stock of the things that challenge you, the issues, the setbacks, being able to look at how can I improve this? How can I take, if there's a loss that you have on a particular day, looking and doing analysis at what it was that led to that loss. What can be done what can be done to avoid that, or to create a better experience from that. There's not mistakes, there's only lessons, right? There's a rapper, Big Sean, he said that. No mistakes, only lessons. Now, when you take the entire day of today, the 25th of October, you add the day and the month, which when we add the 10, and that gives us 35. Then you add it to the complete year. That makes today a day of what's referred to as the 7 of Cups. Today is the day, like altogether, when you add it, the life path of today is the 7 of Cups. It's a little bit of a slower type of energy. It's more of a laid back, but it's also a lot of the illusion. A lot of things related to illusion, what could be possible potentials of things. Things that feel promised but are not fully tangible, fully not in full possession of it, but just the idea, the prospect is there of it. This could be the energy that you may be experiencing. It's a universal energy of the day. Everyone has a unique energy number for this day. If you guys want to find out yours, send me a message and I can, we could talk about it. But that right there is 2 aspects of the number of the day. The first one that I mentioned was taking the time to really do a lot of introspection, looking at possible, areas where mistakes were made, areas where things can be improved and being done better. And then 2, not becoming too attached to potentials or outcomes, but to enjoy and embrace it as, with what it is, because it is an aspect of illusion, even the challenges that you may be experiencing. Let's see. So I had someone just now, Earl, asked about what's going on in Cali. And from that, I assume that what you're talking about is the fires that have been happening. I assume that's what you're talking about when you say what's going on in Cali. And with that, just as from a little numerology input on that, we're in the month of October, which is a 1 month. Now, this particular 1 month, the element that's associated with 1 is the element of fire. And I just throw that in there as a possible correlation, just to take note. For those of you who write notes and take jot things down, a little homework assignment that you can do and, share with us your results is look at the amount of fires that happen in the month of October and January. Those are both 1 month. They both carry that energy of the number 1, the element of fire. So definitely pay attention to that. Also, if you want to take another look, also see the rate of the fires for this year in the month of July. And take a look at that, see what correlation you find. And there's a reason why I'm throwing those particular dates out there to you, just in case you guys want to do a little bit of research and see what you find. So another thing that is really good to be aware of, we are in what's referred to as approaching Mercury retrograde. So Mercury retrograde is a period of time that it appears that the planet Mercury is spinning backwards. Now, it's not that the planet is literally spinning backwards or going backward in any way, but it's the way that it is situated in the sky from our perspective gives it the illusion that it's spinning in reverse. What's the point? Point is that since it appears to be spinning backwards from the perspective of Earth, the things that particular planet rules or influences will be operating in a backwards manner. So in that case, meaning things that Mercury rules would be communication, travel, technology, communication within business, within relationships, communication in general. And that being the case, since Mercury is retrograde and moving backwards, we could say that those things and situations would be operating in a backwards way or in a way that we may not intentionalize. So this period of time, it starts on the 31st of October 31st. Okay? And it ends toward the end of November. Toward the end of November is when it ends. So, some things that you want to be careful to, if at all possible, put off until that time would be signing contracts, anything that is a new project or new work or new order, anything like that, because then it may not come out the way that you intend. Any business partnerships or anything like that during a Mercury retrograde season that you start can tend to be more of a short-lived nature. Not that it won't work out, not that you won't have success in it, but that it tends to be a little bit short-lived. So before retrograde actually officially starts on the 31st, we have what's referred to as the pre-shadow period, right? Pre-shadow is about a week or longer of a period of time that you're experiencing the very beginning effects of Mercury retrograde. Hey Val, good to see you. So you're experiencing the beginning results of that, and that started on the 10th of October. So on the 11th of October is when pre-shadow started of Mercury retrograde. So you're beginning to see the effects, beginning to see the impact of it. After the 31st is when we move completely into that period of time. Then toward the end of November is when we go into what's called post-shadow, or after the retrograde, after the shadow aspect of it. That lasts until the 7th of December. So during this period of time, it's just really good to be, when it comes to communication, remember that things may be said in a way that are not, the person may not have meant to say it in such a way as that. They're trying to come across in a way that's not offensive, but communication can be impaired, which may make something sound different than what they intended. It may give a different impression in your mind than what they wanted. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. And this is a time to, give people the benefit of the doubt and do your very best to not to slow it down when it comes to taking offense to things that are said. Not be too quick to draw a conclusion off of a communication, especially if it's through texting or over the phone. Beware of texting. I'm not saying don't text, but I'm saying before drawing a conclusion, if something is not clear, if something comes off vague, and you're not quite sure the intention behind that particular phrase or whatever it was that was in that text message, before drawing a conclusion or allowing ourselves to get offended at what was said, if it's possible, try giving that person a phone call to clarify anything. Clarify anything that, so that nothing gets twisted or lost in translation. Especially through texting, because with texting, you're not able to hear the tone, you're not able to see the facial expression or any of those things which would give you the actual intent behind that message. So during this period of time, just be willing to give the benefit of the doubt, especially when it comes to texting or any communication over the phone, because Mercury rules those things, those energies. This is a really great time to take a look at things that you haven't done in a while and resurrect them or bring it back to the surface. Excuse me. This could be especially a time when people from the past or past relationships may resurface. Things that haven't been done, things that need to be done may come to your attention at this time so that you can complete them. As this particular period of time is the best thing that can be done. One of the best things is to tie up loose ends. Tie up loose ends that weren't completed or finished, so that it clears up that energy of things that need to be done. So these are all really good things to take note of when it comes to the pre-shadow, post-shadow, and the actual retrograde season. Definitely not anything to be, spreading fear or anything. It's just to increase the likelihood of the success of the things that you launch. If it's something that's already started, great. It's a good idea to actually work on it and just continue and maintain the things that you've already started during this time. Anything new that you really wanted, just save it until afterward if it can. If it can't, and it absolutely has to be done at this time, do it. You got to do it. Can't just put life off just because some planet starts to spin backwards. You got to, do what you got to do. But just always during that, make sure you double check everything. Double check and recheck. And things can go well for you. There's people who thrive during this period of time. And it's all about the way that you do things. It's just all about the way. These are cycles similar to the moon cycle, how there's a new moon. You got the full moon, then you have waxing, waning. These are just seasons. These are just times that tell us this is the best thing at this time to do. That'll give you the best odds of success. So, I got 3 new books. about numerology. They're by Richard King. He's got the book series, King's Book of Numerology. He's got like 12 volumes. And I recently got volume, 7, 8, and 12. I just got those because those have like that really, really, really deep stuff. Really deep stuff. Tons of good content in there. The volume 7 is parenting wisdom, so it's applying numerology to children and how children show their numbers at earlier ages, and really good advice to give children depending on their life path. Like, because the thing about life path numbers is we often grow up in a way that is opposite of what our life path has us going in that direction. So if you're a life path 1, it would be normal to be born into a situation where you would be dependent on others. Others would think for you and tell you what to think. They would tell you what to do as opposed to showing you how to do it initially from your childhood. Why? Because as a life path 1, what you're here to naturally manifest in your life is independence, doing things on your own, self-reliance. So it'd be common to be raised in an environment where you're relying on others, allowing others to think for you, and that is your norm. In the sense that you're raised in the opposite direction you're supposed to go, and not even aware of that's not the right direction for you. So if you're giving advice to a child that has life path 1 and their whole life path is about independence, you will naturally encourage that child to learn how to think for themselves, teach them how to think for themselves, teach them about self-reliance. This is the premise that this numerology for children is coming from that perspective. Then I have volume 8, which is part 2 of the forecasting. So this is advanced techniques in forecasting for numerology. And then volume 12 is advanced principles, just next level stuff. And it's really interesting to take a look at that, because it's been a while since I've actually done some deep research in numerology in the form of reading. The deep research that I have been doing is through experiencing and charting out the months and the days and the years, learning from others' charts as I'm doing it, but also learning from mine and observing my experiences, taking a look at certain days, right? But what's so interesting is that some of the ideas and the concepts that I discovered in this process of doing the research on my own, I've spotted some of those concepts in the book, which is interesting. And so some of these concepts I'll be sharing with you guys as we progress through those chapters. So stay tuned on that, guys. So for you guys, go ahead and drop in the comments any questions that you guys have about numerology. I'm about to wrap this up in a few minutes to get ready for the next show here at the station. But just to let you guys know, there's some really fun stuff that's happening this weekend. We have the New Earth Expo. It's going to be in Sacramento at the Crown Plaza Hotel this Sunday. And you guys should definitely stop by and, get a reading from some people. I probably won't be attending that one because I have some other things planned on that day. But this will be a really, really great time to possibly network with people, and just get, expose yourself to something new. You might come back with some new insight or some new realization that just takes you to a whole nother level, So that's what I have for today, guys. If you guys want some more depth as far as how this particular energy will be affecting you for the rest of this year, for the rest of the month, if you want to know what 2020 has in store for your unique life path, feel free to question in the inbox. Send me a question through the private message, and I'll gladly be able to help you with that. And that being said, thank you guys all for tuning in. Gonna wrap this up. This is Darius Oliver with Divine Numerology. You have an awesome weekend and enjoy it. Peace. And that was piece to my live stream. So for you guys that are on the radio show, thank you guys for tuning in to the show today. You have an awesome weekend, and I will see you soon. Take care.